welcome back to the Prince Medical TV. Here's your guy, the Prince Kelvin 28. As always, welcome back to yet another episode of Health Talk. And in today's episode, I'm just continuing the last episode of the last video that I did. I was talking about family planning methods. For those who watched, they know that. And for those who have not watched, at least you need to check on the previous episode so that you can relate about what I'm talking about. Or at least you can get to know about every family planning method that I talked about. Because in this episode, I'm continuing. So in the last episode, the last family planning method that I talked about was basal body temperature, or BBT, whereby we said that immediately you're done with your periods, if you want to use that method, immediately you're done with your periods, you get yourself a thermometer and a chart book, whereby you're supposed to record the body temperatures. So every morning after you wake up, you take your body temperatures and you record on that chart. Then you're supposed to compare the body temperatures of every day. So if you notice that there is a rise in that body temperature, you know that you're getting to your fertile days, or you're just close to ovulation. Yeah? So that with that you'll know when you're fertile, and if you want to conceive, then you know that's the right time to try and get pregnant. And again, if you don't want to get pregnant, you know that this is the period that I'm supposed to use a condom or abstain from sex because you don't want to get pregnant. Yeah. So in today's episode, I'm gonna continue with the rest. I think I have like around 5 more that I'm supposed to talk about in this episode. So I will start with vasectomy, a procedure that is done on men, and it involves the cutting and tying of the vas deferens tube, or the tube that carries sperms from the epididymis. Yeah, you know, sperms are produced in the testes and stored in the epididymis. Semen is produced in bulbourethral glands, the seminal vesicles, and the prostate gland. So during production, the two are produced in different places, but later on combined to form one. So now, during intercourse after vasectomy, you will realize that the semen is just plain, it has no sperms. That makes it difficult for one to make any woman pregnant. Yeah? So vasectomy, let's say vasectomy is irreversible. So once you have done vasectomy, that's the end of it. It is permanent contraception. So there is no reversal of this method. So before you think about vasectomy, you need to think really well, think hard, and know if you ever want to have a kid, because once you're done, you're done. I've seen this method. The most people who want this method are those people with a lot of money, the tycoons. They really love this method, right? Because of one thing. I talked to one and he told me the reason. He told me, you know, women out here just want to trick you and say that you got their kids or you make them pregnant, so now they're putting responsibilities on you. But you know, to avoid all that, now I need to just get the vasectomy, such that I even have the legal documents showing the procedure was done to me. So anytime any woman out there comes claiming that I made them pregnant, I'll just produce my documents and all that. Yeah, so they are safeguarding their wealth. The world is changing. The world is changing. So well, if you have to do this, just know you never have kids all your life. So for those who can, or I can only recommend this to any person who feels that they don't need any kid, or they'll never want to have any kid, or they have already had the kids, or the number of kids that they have always wished to have, and now they are comfortable. That's the only time I can say this. But if you're still young and you're not sure about tomorrow and future, please don't do vasectomy. Okay? Now, on to the next method. I'll be talking about a diaphragm. This is what we call a diaphragm. Now, this is a barrier method, just like a condom. And it is female based, or the woman is the one who uses this most. She inserts it into the vagina just a few minutes or a few hours into the intercourse, such that it blocks or it collects all the sperms in that cup, or the semen the semen contains the sperm. Now the semen collects in that cup, then she just removes it after ejaculation, after the man has ejaculated and maybe they're done with the intercourse. She just removed that cup and just discard it. No, sometimes this method is not very effective, because at some point there could be leakage, or it doesn't completely give an insulation, because at some point, if during ejaculation and let's say removal of that cup, there could be a possibility that some semen will drip into the vagina, and a slight drop is enough to make you pregnant. So just a few nations or a few countries are still on the use of a diaphragm, but for me, I would not recommend this. The next method I'll be talking about is spermicide. Now, spermicide is just basically a chemical that is applied in the vagina just a few minutes or a few hours before intercourse. Now, this chemical acts by killing all the sperms in the semen. So after ejaculation, the chemical will take it along and act on the semen and the sperms and kill all of them. Now, for you to use a spermicide, you must not be allergic to that spermicide, and the spermicide must not be expired. So if you're purchasing this spermicide, you need to be cautious. You must be vigilant in checking if the chemical is expired or not, because if you get one that is expired, definitely it is not gonna work on you, and you just find yourself that you're pregnant after using that spermicide. So you need to be extra cautious if you're using that. Now, the last and not the least, I'll be talking about safe days or calendar method. This is a very common method among women of reproductive age. Most of them use this method, and some have missed using the same method. Now, what you need to know is, if you don't have regular periods, don't try to use this method to mess you big time. Because if you don't have regular periods, that means you'll never know when you're ovulating and when you're not. So if you try this, it will definitely mess you up. So for those who have regular periods, you can use this method, but still again, you need to be keen on the calendar or counting of the days, because if you miscalculate, you messed up a big time. So safe days are not always safe. I always say that, the body changes with time, and what happens to you this month is not what will happen to you next month. So a slight change in your metabolism and all that would mean that there is likelihood, maybe if you were starting, let's say, ovulation happens 14 days after the last day of your period. Now, the first 7 days are normally safe days, but not to everyone. Now, with individuals, this vary. Some may start their safe days from let's say, from day 1 of the last day of their period to day 5, others to day 7. Now, depending on individuals. Now you see why I'm saying it is not always safe, because you don't know what has changed in your body, and that you may land yourself on a day that is not safe to you, because as I mentioned earlier, a slight change in metabolism of your body could mean maybe the safe days have reduced to a certain number of days that you don't know, and you land yourself on a fertile day and you get pregnant. So safe days are not always safe. You just need to be extra cautious when you're doing this. Just know, if you're really in need of contraception, don't try safe days. They'll mess you a big time. There are people who will tell you, I got pregnant on my safe days. That is what normally happens. I hope you've learned a lot from this episode and from the previous episode about family planning. I've tried to do it extensively so that I can try and clarify still a few areas that you could be having questions, and still I'm open for more questions if still I've not clarified on the methods, a specific one, kindly you can reach me on my Instagram at the Prince Kelvin 28. DM me on my Instagram and I'll answer your question. Yeah? So don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I hope it is of great help to you and your friends. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, ask me a question, I will answer. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a new video, so that you can come watch and learn something. Yeah? See you in the next episode.